menstruation, the coming of age when you became to the crone phase, when mothers would welcome a new mother as part of the circle of mothers, planting festivals, blessings. They had abortion and miscarriage festivals, and so forth. So the first holiday I'm going to talk about is Vestalia and Lupercalia. These were fertility days. February 13th is when it began. It was for purification, not for feasting. There were different types of festivals. Some were more celebrating and feasting oriented. Some were very sober types of festivals. This one was a purification festival where your ancestors were honored. And this was a time when you would appease the dead, the people who had already died and gone before you. And it was also an invitation for happy, positive type spirits to incarnate the young women and hopefully make them fertile. Young women of childbearing age were also struck with strips of goat skin, and that was supposed to help them with getting pregnant and being able to conceive. The next holiday is Diazia. This was a warding off of poverty festival. This was a very dark, gloomy festival. It was considered scary, dark, a time when exorcisms were done, magical curses, purgations, placating the spirits for the wrongs done in your bloodline. So even if several generations ago something was done, this was the time to get rid of the bad stuff in your family. Anything in your bloodline that had been a wrong. This was celebrated on the night of March 14th. Some people would journey to the temple of the big snake. This was the goddess Uazit, and they would offer food to her to remove any poverty and illness that would be part of their family line. The next festival is Vestalia. This is a 3-day festival. It's the Blessing of the Vine Festival, and it's a 3-day long festival, and each day has a special association. There's the tasting of the new wine, which is also known as the opening of the casks day. This was the first day of the festival when they would open the wine that had been fermenting, and they would taste it for the first time. There would be a cup with a garland on it, and it was really huge. It was a gigantic cup, garlanded, and people would try to, it was like a contest, and whoever could drain this cup all the way would win a good luck cake, and they would be bestowed with good fortune for the year. This cup signified the sacred marriage, the union of the goddess and the god, the goddess and her king. And the temples of the earthborn Dionysus was opened. Their temples were actually way deep in the earth. They were like clefts or faults in the earth, and the temples were way down inside of there. So yeah, that was day 2, the day of the cups, when they would celebrate with the cups and the sacred union. Day 3 was the festival of the pots. No work other than feeding the whole community was done on this day. People would buy new pots to use, and they would cook on them for the very first time on this 3rd day, Festival of the Pots. vestalia holiday, there was a more serious part that they would celebrate, or that they would do. The head of the house, which in this time was the mother, would stand barefoot in the center of the home, and she would make the hand sign of the yoni. She would wash her hands in spring water and turn 3 times while putting 9 beans into her mouth. And then she would spit the 9 beans out of her mouth, saying a special incantation, a special phrase. She would do this, repeat it 9 times, this whole process of washing her hands and turning around and spitting the beans and all that. She'd do it 9 times, and then at the end she would say, "Shades of my ancestors depart." So this would get rid of any negativity that was hanging around in their home, and it would be like starting fresh and new. Okay, the next festival is Thargelia, the festival of the first fruits. This is the first of 3 harvest festivals. We all know about the harvest festivals, and this was just like that. The first fruits that were harvested were taken